Hello, everybody. Hello, 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 hello. To let you know, I am tired tonight. And when I tell you I'm tired as Tad tonight. Happy Wednesday, everybody. We're going to get into this because I'm 9 minutes late. And I'm starting to see that the best made plans of mice and men. As much as I try to be here on time, it just doesn't seem to work half of the time. So anyway, hopefully everyone is having a great Wednesday. I know a lot of people will be catching this on replay, which is okay. And if you are catching this on replay, that means you can hear me right now. So the question I have for you, since you'll be rewatching this on the replay, is that I'm thinking of, instead of doing lives, since my lives are late, I'm thinking more of recording them and then posting them like earlier in the day. That's what I'm thinking of to start doing so that I can catch more people. So let me know if you think that's a good idea for the people who are catching this on the replay. Because I'm thinking that'd probably be the best to just record them. But you guys are in this journey with me together, so we will knock out all the kinks. We'll figure this out. But anyway, let's start. Let us start. Hopefully everyone is having a great Wednesday, had a great Wednesday, had a safe Wednesday. It's so interesting how when you don't have anything planned, it seems like the week drags on and drags on and drags on. But then when you have actually something to do on that day, it seems like the days fly by. It feels like just yesterday it was Wednesday, but it's been a week. So anyway, hopefully everyone has had a great week, a great safe week. Hopefully everyone's having a great Wednesday, and we are back to talking about the characteristics of a friend. We talked about it some last time, but this one kind of is near and dear to my heart on friendship and story time. Get my hand out. As you can see, I have a different background also, and I am actually going to show you my tea this time. I actually do have tea. I am sipping on green tea tonight. Green tea is good. It's healthy for you. It relaxes me. Earl Grey tea does the same. I love Earl Grey. Like, for all you connoisseurs of teas, Earl Grey, and a lot of teas are like you have to get a taste for it, but they're really good for you. So I know green tea is really, really good for you. So you should look that up, green tea. So anyway, story time about my life. We're being transparent because that's what these conversations are about. Me being transparent, you being transparent with me, and us learning some stuff. So I am a military brat. Both of my parents were Air Force. So I was a military brat. I bounced around a lot. And I bounced around a lot in my primitive years. So in my early years, I bounced around a lot. So I had to learn quickly. You had two choices as a military brat when you bounced around a lot in the middle of school years. You either stay to yourself and make no friends and be lonely, or you learn to adapt and adjust and be flexible and learn to talk to everybody. So I learned to adapt and adjust, and I was able to, no matter where we were at, I was able to connect with people and be friends with people and, get along with everybody. So that's cool, all cool and dandy, but I never got a real, true, deep connection with anybody because I was constantly bouncing from place to place, and I was constantly meeting new people and then having to go, or like making quick friends, like never actually delving into who I really was. You just kind of stayed. So for the majority of my life I had shallow friendships, we'll say, because I never really had the time or I didn't have the luxury of getting to know, deep diving into people and getting to know them and all that, because by the time you got really deep with somebody, it was time to move on. And then as a kid, you learned that you didn't really want to get that deep with people because it was going to be time to go. So you didn't want to invest all your time in somebody and then have to pick up and leave. So the majority of my elementary and middle school years, I'll say a little through high school, was pretty much shallow friendships where I had friends, but they didn't know much about me. I usually was able to find out more about other people than actually sharing stuff about me. So for the longest, I really wanted a friend. And when I was younger, I always kind of envied the people who had those friends that had those, inside jokes, or had those friends that went through some stuff together, or had those friends or like, girl, you remember that time when we did this and that and this and that, and they would laugh and they would remember, because I never had that. For the longest, I never had that because we picked up and moved. We picked up and moved, and then being military, sometimes when you pick up and move, you never talk to that person again, because I'm not that old, but we didn't have like, Skype. We didn't have text messages. We didn't have like the internet. Like we had the internet, but it wasn't like what it is today. So it was really hard to keep up with people. So I never really had the opportunity to have a long lasting friendship with anybody. So for the longest, I had shallow friends, shallow connections, just enough that, I wasn't lonely half of the time. So when I got to high school, I finally found somebody and became friends with that person. So then I was able to take the time needed to actually get a deep connection with somebody and to share stuff and, be vulnerable with someone and be transparent with somebody. And I will have to say that friend I have been friends with for years. So this is my longest running friendship ever in life. And I will say that it wasn't one of those where it just happened overnight. So being a true friend takes time. It takes time, and a true friend knows you. So because I have a friend now who it took years and years and years, but we were able to, become, know each other like that. We became best friends and we became true friends. Now there's people that have shallow friendships. Not trying to say that the person is shallow. It's just you have shallow friendship. For you to have a true, deep friendship, you have to be open to telling them about you and you about them. So a true friendship, a really true friendship, is all about them knowing you deeply. So this is the reason why later on I'm going to talk about how I feel like you don't need that many friends. You don't need 20 friends. You don't need like 15 friends. Like you really don't. You really just kind of need one or two really good people, because true friendships take time. It takes investment. You have to invest your time and your energy to get a really true friend. And if you have a true friend, they are going to know things about you that nobody else is going to know. So for instance, I will say the difference, and I've seen it on Facebook and like certain videos where you have like your best friend, this is what they would do in this situation, and like a friend would do this in this situation, and then a best friend would do this in this situation. So a best friend knows like your fears, they know the things you struggle with, they know the stuff you like, they know, your victories, your defeats. These things your friend, your true deep friend knows. And that's because you have spent time, you've spent energy, you've spent the time you need to get to know this person, and vice versa. Yes, dear, you can get water.
You know what today?
So
Did you know what today?
It's 9:18. And because life is fun, my children are still up. And that was the whole point of me doing this at 9 o'clock, because my kids would be asleep. But As all moms know, there's always that one child that always wants to get out of bed when they're not supposed to. The one that wants water, even though they drunk like a gallon of water before they went to bed. The one that decided that they wanted to remember something that was in their agenda after we already put you to bed. Is there anything else you need from me, dear, as a mother? Anything? Okay, see, now we're going to have a whole full conversation about this. So, back to friendships and being true friends. True friends know you deeply. True friends know things about you that other people don't know about you. So, I always say that you always know the true friends, the one when they're just like,
Good night.
good night, sweetie.
Goodbye.
Goodbye, sweetie.
Going to New York.
Good.
Mommy, have you seen my suitcase? Okay.
Why are kids, my kids, I'm sorry, you guys. And it's crazy because she knows when I'm on my live, because then she'll just purposely say things out loud that usually she would have never said. Pray for me, people. Pray for me. Anyway, back to what I was saying. So I always look at it like those people, the ones that I have the prayer request. So I have a unmentioned prayer request. Those blanket prayer requests. It's like, just pray for me. You know, I'm not going to tell you the situation. Just pray for me. It's just like, just pray for me. Those are the friends. The best friends are going to know exactly what you're going through and know exactly what to pray for. That's the difference. That's why you don't need 20 friends around, like 20 best friends, because that means you are telling, to be a true friend, you have to give parts of you to people. You have to open up about things that usually you wouldn't open up to people outside of your circle. So the more people you have in your circle that you call your best friends, your true friends, just remember, for each friend you're giving energy. To make it work, you have to give energy. You have to give of yourself. So that's why it's best not to have so many friends, not like close friends. You don't really need too many close friends to be fulfilled in life. And one of my best examples, I'm jumping all the way before I even get to where I wanted to be. So like I said, I'm a Christian. So Jesus had 12 disciples. He had 12 homeboys around him. 12. He had 12 homeboys around him. So those are his friends. 12 homeboys around him. And a whole nother thing is that one of them betrayed him. But we're going to leave that alone. 12 homeboys around him. But in the 12 homeboys around him, he had 3 that were closer than those 12. And to go one step further, he had 1 that was his true best friend. So he had 12 friends. He had 3 like best friends, you can say. And he had 1 like true brother. And if he only had that many, we really don't need that many. And I think the mentality we have is that, especially in middle school and younger, is that the more friends you have, the popular you are or whatever. And I think, like, even as kids, we are just ingrained on having friends. Get friends. And I think it just keeps going, like, in your adult life, to have friends. You know, if you don't have friends, there's something wrong with you. If you don't have that, like, 5 friends, then, you know, you're not normal. And that's not, and I feel like the world really pushes, and it's not, don't get me wrong, you should be friendly. You should have friends. But I think we put too much emphasis on the number of friends instead of the quality of the friendships. That's what I think. And if you feel like I'm wrong, let me know. But I really feel like we do quantity over quality. You can have 10 shallow friendships around you, or you could have 1 quality friend around you. And I promise you that 1 quality friendship that you have is going to outweigh all of the 10 or whatever shallow friendships you have. So just remember, though, as much as you like want them to be deep with you and know you, you have to take the time to get to know them also. Remember that to be a friend, you have to be a friend. And so if they're taking their time out to get to know you, you have to do the same thing. It can't be, I know all your likes, I know all your fears, I know all this, but you know nothing about me because I shut you off. You can't do that. You have to be a friend on both sides. A friend, because a friend knows you deeply, and a friend knows all about you, your fears, your weaknesses, your likes, your dislikes, things that happen to you, stuff like that. A friend is delicate. A friend knows when to put the kid gloves on. The friend, a true friend knows which like subjects or what things in your life that are you're sensitive to. A true friend knows. Other friends don't really know you like that, so they can trump all over and stomp all over stuff and, hurt your feelings, and they don't even know why because they don't know you like that. But a true friend knows where you're sensitive, and they know certain things that, I'm not going to talk to her about this because this is a sensitive subject, or I'm going to talk about this, but we're going to talk about it in a way that's like, in a nice soothing way, something like that. So everyone knows those friendships that you cannot say certain things to that person because they are just like, there's no delicacy at all. They are just going forth with it. And then you have your true best friends, like the ones close to your heart, almost like your sister, your ride or die. Those the ones that, when things happen, they know what to say, and some of them they actually like guard you from stuff. Like if people are talking about stuff, they're going to be the ones that's going to be that barrier because they know how that affects you. So a true friend is not going to be one of those ones. And it's funny because sometimes a true friend knows when to say stuff and when not to say stuff. So if something happened to you and is something that's like kind of a trigger for you, but other people are talking about it, your friend's gonna know, hey, I need to remove her from the situation, or we need to, say something else or stuff like that. So a true friend, but the only way a true friend can be that way is if a true friend knows you. You have to open up, because people are not going to know, oh, I didn't know that triggered her because I don't really know her like that because she didn't open up. So then you can't be mad at people especially if they're supposed to be like a true friend and, you really haven't discussed with them about stuff. You can't be mad at them for saying things that like ticked you off if you never explained to them why, this thing ticked you off. Something like that. Friends also know boundaries. So boundaries is, if you can learn boundaries, you can learn a lot of things, because boundaries are very important in any relationship you have. So either it be a marriage, either it be boyfriend, girlfriend, either it be like an intimate relationship, either it be a friendship. Boundaries are very, very important. A true friend knows boundaries. A true friend knows boundaries. You should never, as a friend, and I know we get possessive with friendships. We do. Like, it's the weirdest thing. Like, I think all of us, well, not all of us, I'll speak for myself. There has been times where I've had friends, some of my good friends who have had, gotten another friend. And now they want to bring the other friend into the fold. And it's just like, hold up, that's my friend. It's like, you can't be their friend. That's my friend. And I feel sometimes we get kind of possessive, especially depending on how, and I think it's because depending on how deep a relationship you are with that person, like I've known her for years. We went through this together. She's been with me through this. We did this together. We went to school together, stuff like that. And you have that connection with that person. And that person knows so much about you, and you know so much about them. And now it feels like somebody else is coming and trying to like take your friend away from you. So I feel like sometimes we get possessive about our friends, but we shouldn't. We really shouldn't, because especially if you have a true friend is going to be there. So, and I will have to say, like, two of my best friends that I have right now, two of my truest friends right now, I didn't like them when I first met them. So I've noticed it's funny. It seems like a lot of true friends don't really like each other when they first meet each other. So it's not one of those like, oh, I saw you and I'm like, ooh, you're gonna be my best friend, and we went and like we're just best friends off the bat. And it was one of those where I had a friend and she invited another friend to lunch, and I didn't know this girl, and it was like instant like, I don't like you. You're trying to take my friend from me. And then in the end it's like we became like sisters. It's the weirdest thing. But we can't be possessive about other people's friends. They're not trying to take our friends. And I think it's because sometimes it is hard to find a friend. It takes time to get that friend. So the thought of that friend not being there kind of makes you possessive of that person. But you got to know your boundaries. You can't be that over jealous friend. You can't be that one that, oh, well, she has a new friend now, but she doesn't talk to me, and, blah blah blah. You can't do that, because in you being if you don't know your boundaries and you overstep your boundaries in a friendship, you could actually be the one pushing your friend away instead of the other person. So that goes with other stuff, especially if you have boundary like if you have boundary issues and you try to be too overbearing and you're trying to always be around that person. There's a place and time for friendship. There's a place and time to hang out with your friends. There's a place and time to, fall back. And I understand we love our friends. I understand, like, with a true friend, you want to be around your friend all the time. You really do. Like, you want to talk to your friend, you want to laugh with your friend, you want to hang out with your friend. But you have to remember, your friend is still a person. Your friend does have a life outside of you. And just even though I'm talking about friends, think of yourself. How would you feel if somebody was constantly like in your space? Someone was constantly on your phone. Someone was constantly there and they didn't know their boundaries. So not knowing your boundaries can push friends away. And that could be like, you could have a really good friend and you don't know your boundaries and push them away, and vice versa. If they don't know their boundaries, it could push you away. But you have to, there's red flags in certain friendships, and this is where being open with people is very important. If you have a friend who you feel they do not understand boundaries and they are always around and they don't understand that, hey, we can't hang out, and they try to make it about them, and or like, woe is me, and you never want to hang out or stuff like that. That is the time, out of love, like I said last time, you have to say things out of love. You need to talk to this person. You need to talk to this person, and because sometimes boundaries issues actually has nothing to do with you at all. Sometimes it's something that has happened to them in the past that is um, making them act the way that they are acting. So maybe something happened in family or some friendship happened before or something. So now that they have you, they just like they're putting their claws in you. And it has really nothing to do with you. It's just maybe the fear of, having you walk away, or fear of being rejected, or the fear of being lonely, or whatever that is. But as a true friend talking to a friend, if you notice that they're having boundary issues, you really need to talk to them about that. And vice versa, if you're having boundary issues, if you're one of those ones that like your friend can't go to lunch with you, or your friend can't hang out, and then all of a sudden you're feeling like you feel some sort of way about that, like maybe you get upset about it, or maybe you get mad about it, or there's that feeling of, if like, I don't want to say rejection. That's when you need to look at yourself and be like, hey, wait a minute, why am I feeling like this? Why, when this person says they can't do something, do I feel like I'm being rejected? So you have to look into that. But respecting boundaries is a really big one for friends. There's a lot of friends out there who don't respect boundaries. And that's why I think it's so important that, okay, so single women can have married women as friends and vice versa. It is very important, though, that if you are married or single, you have to understand boundaries with that. So, especially if you're a single woman who is best friends with a married woman, the boundaries are going to be different because now she's married. She has a husband, she might have a family or whatever. So, what you guys used to do, especially if you guys are both single and now one of you guys got married, there's certain things that there's now boundaries. There's certain things that both of you single people used to do that now that one single one's married, you may not be able to do. You may still be able to do certain things, but maybe not as often as you used to. Like, say, when you were both single, we went out like almost not every night because we had to work, but maybe we started on Thursday and partied till Sunday. And this was a ritual. This is what we did, and we were together and we did all this. But now she's married. Now there comes boundaries, and you have to understand that you can't get mad. Like, it's just like, well, you don't hang out with me anymore, blah blah, because now there's another. Your friendship has changed, and friendships will evolve. They will. Like, friendships will go from being really really tight to kind of distancing themselves to like being tight again. But friendships evolve. It's like a roller coaster. They do evolve. So even though she may be like your best friend this season, the next season she might, we'll still be friends, but we're maybe not as close as we used to be. And I notice with friendships, especially like true friendships, come, not always, but they develop out of trials. I will have to say, it's usually when you're going through something, that's when like true friendship is like solidified. Especially if you're going through some stuff and you see who's for you and who's not. Those are those seasons, because sometimes like you'll be going through some stuff and this person that is just like out of the blue comes and they understand, and now you guys are like boom coon friends. But then after that season goes, like maybe they're not as what they used to be. So don't feel bad when friendships evolve. They evolve. That's what we do. We evolve. Things change, and sometimes your friendship may change. And what I want to talk about later is, I'm not going to do it again tonight, but we've heard about the lifetime season reasons and lifetime friends. I really want to talk about that because it's very important to know the difference, and it's very important to know who is in each season and which reason and who's supposed to be in their lifetime. You can't keep people who aren't supposed to be in certain sections of your life. But anyway, friendships evolve. They evolve. So both of y'all are single, but now one of y'all are married. So now we're evolving again. Or both of y'all are single, now both of y'all are married. We're still evolving, but now someone's pregnant. It evolves. Your friendships evolve. And the true friendships are the ones that can stand the test of time. So the true friendships is, even though I just got married and you're still single, we're still friends. We're still cool. I just had a baby, or you just had a baby, or whatever, and we're still cool. Those are true friendships. The shallow friendships are the ones that may kind of just drift away. The one that you don't talk to that person as much anymore. And the cool thing about true friends, like my friend from high school, who's been my longest running friend ever, we used to live around each other. Now she's moved, and we may not talk every day. You don't always have to talk to your friends, like your true friends. Like, you don't have to talk every day to be friends. Like, I talk to her maybe once every 3 weeks, maybe. But it's one of those with true friends, no matter how long it's been since you guys talk, when y'all get together, it's like you haven't even missed a beat. It's almost like we just picked up right where we left off and we just kept on going. But you have to keep in touch. Like, you have to for true friendships to work, you have to put in the time. meaning you have to keep in touch. Even if that person, if you really want something to work, they can be across the United States, but you still have to keep in touch. You still have to talk to this person, because if you don't, that's where the friendship ends. And please don't be that person that, like, you have one person who's really trying to make this work and they're keeping in touch, and, you know, when they come in town, they want to hang out with you, but then you don't keep in touch, because that's a way to ruin friendships. And I think a lot of times we have some of the friendships that did not last, some of them are actually our faults. I mean, if I can be honest, if I can be 100%, sometimes it's our fault because we weren't being the friend that we wanted to see. So that's the reason why, like, it has to start with you. It has to start with you being the friend that you want to see in somebody else. So if you want somebody to, you know, keep in contact with you, to make an effort, to put energy into this, you have to do the same thing. And even if you've been, you know, you've had a bad friendship, you can't let that hold you back from putting your all into this one. And I won't say friendships aren't risky. Friendships are risky. Like true friendships, they're wonderful. They have their pros. They are like, I love my friends. I love them. They have gotten me and helped me get through so much in life. But they're risky. They are risky. So before you are able to just open up, make sure that you're ready. Make sure there's closure with you before you go and open this door with somebody else. Because the worst thing in the world is to have somebody who's ready to be a true friend to you, but you haven't got closure from the last time that you got hurt, and you bring that into the friendship, and now you're hurting people. You're just out here just hurting folk. So, and that's the same with relationships. That's a whole nother conversation bring not having closure in relationships, because you just be trampling on folk. So let's not do that. But a true friend keeps in touch. A true friend is someone who's going to, no matter what, even if they're busy, like there are some times I will just send a quick little text message. Hey, how you doing? What's up? You know, you may not have time, but just the thought that, you know, they thought about me, it means a lot. So because we're busy with life, especially if you have school, if you have work, you have kids, you have a dog, you have anything going on, life can get really, really, really busy. But that's where you still have to make time if you want this friendship. If you want to be true friends, if you want to build that strong relationship, then you have to keep in touch. You have to keep the communication going. And it doesn't have to be every day. We don't have to talk every single day. But, you know, just drop a line. Hey, I was thinking about you. How are you doing? And especially if you know that they're going through some stuff, check up on your friends. Like, check up on your friends. You'd want someone to check up on you if you were going through some stuff. So if they know that you're going through some stuff and you know that they're going through some stuff, check up on them. Make sure they're okay. Like, if you know that something happened, and especially if they decided to be vulnerable with you and be transparent with you, and they trusted you enough to share something with you that they've never shared with anybody else, or so far nobody else but you. Hey, Michelle, if they trusted you enough to share something with you about something that's going on, you as a friend should follow up. Be like, hey, I haven't talked to you for a while, but I know this was going on. How's it going? How are you doing today? And especially if it's something that is like serious, like, not so much as they will hurt themselves, but if they're sinking into depression, blah, blah, blah. But once again, you're not going to know all that until you have deep friendships with these people. So if you never become transparent, they never become transparent, and you never get to know these people, you're never going to know what's hurting. You're never going to know what's going on with them in their life. So to be a true friend, you have to be a friend. You have to care. You have to care about what's going on. You have to be able to put yourself aside sometimes. And sometimes you have to be able to put your problems aside to take care of your friend. It can't be all about you. It can't be like, I did this and I did this and woe is me. And, oh, I know you're dealing with this over here, but let's go back to me. You have to be able to be selfless sometimes in friendships. Sometimes, like, you might be busy, things are going on, but your friend calls you at like 11 o'clock at night crying their eyes out. So you have a choice. You can either be like, it's kind of 11 o'clock, got to go to work tomorrow. Let me hit you back tomorrow. Or it could be, I'm dropping everything. We just going to be looking raggedy at work tomorrow. What's going on? Let's talk. So, but you have to, usually by that time, you guys are like, you know more about each other. But you have to be selfless. You have to be selfless in friendships. It's like, I give 100%, you give 100%, and we become true friends. But you have to be able to put yourself aside sometime and be there for them, because the shoe is always going to be on the other foot. With friendships, there's always going to be a time where I'm going to be strong and you're going to be weak. And there's going to be a time where you're going to be strong and I'm going to be weak. And even though it's not happening right now, later on in life, there's going to be a time where I'm going to be the one on the other side of the phone crying my eyes out, hoping that you will pick up and that you will talk to me and that you will, give me good advice and you'll say stuff out of the heart and be there and be compassionate and be encouraging and be there for me, be that shoulder to cry on. And if you can't be the shoulder to cry on for somebody, once again, don't expect them to be a shoulder to cry on for you, because it's not fair. It's not fair. So, being vulnerable, keep in touch, talk to your friends. Please talk to your friends. Somebody, please talk to your friends. Especially if they're your true friends. Please, we need to talk. We need to talk to our friends. We need to be compassionate, and we need to care about what's going on with their life. And sometimes it's like, you have to remember, certain things in life may seem mundane to you and small, but to them is the world. There could be a little issue that they are having that is just the biggest thing in the world to them. And to you, you're like, okay. It's like, but you still have to, as a true friend, be compassionate about that issue. And you don't take it lightly and you don't brush off their feelings. You actually listen to them and you give good advice about it. Because like I said, one of these days, something that's mundane to you is going to be something big to them. Or vice versa. Something big to you is going to be mundane to them. So I think in all the friendship and like all the videos and everything I say, just remember that to be a friend, to have a true lasting friendship, you have to be friendly. You have to show these signs. And if you show these signs, then people are going to show these signs back to you. And if you notice in some of your friendships that there's no loyalty, or they don't talk like they're supposed to, or nobody's selfless, everyone's selfless, or everyone's selfish, and stuff like that, sometimes you have to check what kind of vibes you're giving off. Because if you're acting like this, sometimes it's like, well, you're giving it to me, so I'm giving it back to you. So, but yeah, not really quite sure what time I started, but I was trying to keep this to 30 minutes, so hopefully I did that. I started a little late, but anyway, hopefully this was a good talk. Hopefully somebody got something out of this. If you guys have any comments or anything to share, or anything to be like, girl, you were right about that, and I noticed blah, 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 blah. Or if, Tony, you were totally off base on that one, like, I don't know what you were talking about for the last 30 minutes. Let me know. It was great chit-chatting with you, and we'll get back to characteristics. I think I have like a couple more, and then we'll get on to something else. But I definitely want to talk about lifetime reasons and seasons. We're definitely going to talk about that. That's very important. Anyway, but I'm going to let everyone who's on get some sleep so we can be bright-eyed, bushy-tailed in the morning. And thank you for coming along with me as we spill the tea on Wednesdays. And I will talk to you guys later.